And good evening, and welcome to the Bitter Knitters podcast. It is Monday, April 15th, 2019. We are the Bitter Knitters. My name is Jacqueline. Arthur's here.
Hey.
And so is Ryan. I just remembered that I did not share the link for the show. Oh, I did share the link. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I didn't think that I had. Just a little warning before we get into the meat of the show. I've been having internet issues all day. Internet's disappearing like crazy. If we disappear, I apologize in advance. We're going to try. Hopefully we'll get an hour's worth or at least 40 minutes before Arthur, becomes the white and blue bleeding Toronto fan.
Mentally checked out. Like.
What we'll do is at 7:10, Ryan and I will start talking about the Leafs and the Bruins, and that will get going like crazy.
Oh, I'm already fucking amped. Like I'm amped as shit.
Can I just say this to all the women, to all the gay men, to all the bisexual men, and whatever, all of the shades of the whatever that like men? This just proves to you that every single man known to mankind has a sports weakness. Mine happens to be a little bit different than Arthur's. I'm sure he's actually watching the sport. I'm not watching the sport, but we all have a little sports weakness.
I get it, man. Like it's how I got my wife into it, right? Like, hey, look, that dude's good looking. Just watch him while I watch the other ones beat the shit out of each other. And like I kind of grew up like that. Like, I have this memory of going to Jacqueline's apartment and her having this Eric Lindros poster, and me knowing as a kid, like, well, that guy's a bum. Why the fuck do you have a fucking poster of a bum on your wall?
Hot.
And there it is, right? So I kind of learned then, like, oh, so there's other aspects to this than just.
I used to watch hockey hardcore. My husband was, he liked hockey a bit. He was football and baseball when I was it. Now my husband watches every sport. And he's like crazy. And this is the problem. Like, if he just watched hockey once or twice a week, I'd be like, cool. But he literally will watch every game.
Yeah.
And it's too much. I'm just like, you know what? You're interfering with like Buffy the Vampire Slayer or whatever.
Oh, so you're talking about my mother,
whom
so I grew up with.
And I mean, it's not even just hockey. It's, it's football, it's baseball, it's basketball. It's like soccer. Soccer's on. It's too much.
The worst in my household when I was growing up was basketball. I mean, it was intense. My mother, you could hear her a mile away just screaming.
When she's watching a sporting event, she's crazy.
She is intense. This is like, even to the point, my father is a man's man. He's not a drinker, but my dad's a man's man. Very quiet, kind of debonair in a way. My mother has annoyed my father with the sports. This is a 5'1" woman, at best 5'1", screaming, crying that her team, any team that LeBron is in, is losing. Just stating.
I remember your mom at the Manny Pacquiao fight.
Oh, the worst. Oh my God, I fucking told you to hit him. That's how she talks to the TV. It's really sad.
We all kind of do that. I get invested into it.
I don't.
But you know what? I hate playoffs, especially basketball and hockey, because literally it's night, because basketball will be one night and then hockey's the next night, and it's till June.
Yep.
Even if your team doesn't make it past the first round, it's till June.
Yep. It's the best time of year.
No, it's
the best time of fucking year. It's the best athletes in any given sport competing at the highest fucking level. It's better than the Olympics. This is the best.
This is why I like the Olympics, because it's 2 to 3 weeks. And I also like football because it's like 4 months and then it goes away.
Well, that's my thing. Like, I'm an Olympics fan, but I'm such a gay that to me it's like gymnastics, but not men's gymnastics, women's gymnastics.
They are better. Like, they're fucking better. They're more fun to watch.
It's like intense.
Yeah.
Swimming. I like swimming. I like weird sports. Like, I'm not as weird as curling.
I still become an expert during like every Olympic game, and I love the winter sports. I don't even like the winter, but I love the winter sports, and I'll be like, oh yes, the biathlon, shooting and skiing, and yes, so and so from this country is the number one in this seeded player. They're gonna win the gold. Like, it's just like crazy. Like, suddenly how all this stuff.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. I think, at least for me, it's fun to watch the Olympics because it's such a short span. For someone who has anxiety, I can't handle like a whole year's worth of sports. You gotta give it to me for like 2 weeks.
I'm surprised there's any like men over the age of 35 still alive that watch sports. Like,
I feel personally attacked by this fucking.
Because I mean, I used to too. Trust me, I used to watch Leafs like every game, and I remember. I mean, the last time I was like emotionally invested in that was when they were playing against the LA Kings, and freaking Wayne Gretzky had a cheap shot and got away with
Gretzky,
it.
Fuck Gretzky, fuck him. Like
that's when they broke my heart. And then the next season they went on strike, and I was like, "Fuck you!" So I was so mad. But I remember like my heart palpitating and just being like, honestly, if I'd had high blood pressure then, I probably would have choked.
I'm not happy to admit this, but like I've drank quite heavily during the last 2 games, and like I'm normally a beer drinker, right? But I made the switch to like straight whiskey because like I can't fucking handle this, like the pressure. Yeah,
again, you're gonna turn Arthur into an alcoholic, man.
But I will say this about Jacqueline: when she boycotts something, she boycotts completely. Jacqueline and I were the first ones to boycott, I think, Walking Dead, right after that season.
What our friend Justin also at the same episode as me gave up. Kind of like done with it, yeah.
Like we're boycotters. Like for me, like once I'm really turned off about something, I'm turned off. I don't wait like until they reprieve it for me. I'm just like, okay, I'm done. Goodbye. Never again. Yeah. But some people like they will, like my mom. I don't know what the equivalent of it is in English, but my mom will switch teams.
Like a bandwagoner.
Yeah, bandwagoner.
Yeah, she's a bandwagoner because she doesn't know what's going on with her life, so she's just like, oh, but LeBron's going to make it better, or this person's going to make it better. So
you might follow a team because you like a player. You know what I mean? Like if you like a player, I get that. If your favorite player is like Sidney Crosby and he suddenly left the Penguins, you're gonna,
I don't know what.
No, fuck that. You've lost all integrity as a fan. What the fuck are you talking about?
I have no idea who's
I've been a fan of a dog shit fucking entire city's worth of franchises my entire fucking life. I've never jumped shit. Stop being dog shit fans, people.
I will say that I do hope one day, just for the fans, not for the team. Fuck you, Maple Leafs. I don't give a shit about you. For the I mean, when you talk about people that have supported a team since this, 1967, and they were shitty so many seasons, and still they would sell out their arena every freaking game. The games are expensive as crazy. They still sell out a game. People are cheering even when the team is like down 5 goals. The people still support this team like crazy. I do hope the Toronto fans get a Stanley Cup very soon.
I'm a fucking sucker for it, but I'm not jumping ship.
You're loyal to your team, right? I think as anybody should be. I'm granted, I don't have any loyalties to sports. I know nothing about sports, so don't even get me started on anything. But I'm loyal to the team that I'm attached to. I'm not one of these people that's like, okay, so my player switched. I'm okay with that. To me, it's like, no, I'm loyal to the team, and so call them shitty or whatever, but. It's the fun of the game. That's what I always tell my mom sometimes. It's not about knowing or wanting to have someone win. It's about really kind of the enthusiasm behind the game. So you may know that your team's going to lose, but that's okay. Yeah. It's all about the fun of it, I think, or the camaraderie that brings everybody together in the
yes. And again, I've said it before about the whole tribalism thing, right? Like sports teams, it's an allowed arena of shit talk and just being as fucking unreasonable as you possibly can.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I have insane hatred for Boston fans. I don't even think I know a Boston fan. You know what I mean? And sports allows me that.
Facebook page, you might want
to you know what I mean, though? Like, it allows us that outlet of fucking just hate and insults. And I love it for that fucking reason. Like, I love the fact that I can go online to a forum where someone's, just running their mouth about the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I can call them the worst fucking names I can think of, and they'll do the same, and it's just par for the course. You know what I mean?
I have a very hard time, I think, in sports, and I hope that you guys don't laugh at me when I say this, because that's why I was a little bit late. I'm almost done with the OJ trials, but I have a big thing about sports because I think we revere these people too much. They are way overpaid. Most of them don't give back to the community. I'm sorry. I know I'm getting political, but because I'm so attached to politics, and I'm for me, it's nationally, which includes, of course, Mexico and Canada. Anything beyond those, unless it's affecting us big time, not really a big fan, right? But for me, sports, it's just, okay, it's the rich getting richer, getting away with shit that they shouldn't get away with. Who gives a fuck? It's like, remember when the Ravens won? Is it the Baltimore Ravens? I don't know what they're
Yeah.
called. But in Maryland, during the football game, and that guy had finally retired, but he had, I think, 7 cases pending on him, or not pending, that he was acquitted for. He was surely guilty, but because he was so fucking popular, it was okay. Ray Rice beating his wife
Yeah.
up. You know, those things annoy me. Those things annoy me because I think as a person who believes in this or tries to believe in the system, people getting away with things just I can't handle that. Like Kobe Bryant.
It's frustrating as all hell. Like Kobe's shit is just nuts. But as far as the overpaid thing goes, though, with the athletes especially, because I've heard that argument a lot. And so my hockey team, the Toronto Maple Leafs, they make billions of dollars a year, and I'm not exaggerating. I literally mean they make fucking billions of dollars
the most
a year.
lucrative NHL team, and it's actually in the top 5. Oh, is it second? I thought
second,
it was
no. The Rangers are the number one. The Rangers make, I think it's like $500 million more a year on average than the Maple Leafs do. So even that, billions of fucking dollars. I'd much rather see that money go to the athletes, so the athletes feel, worth it, and they put that extra work in to make the next season that much more exciting. To level up the game, kind of per se. But no, I understand. I think that fucking. It is nuts. It's nuts to sit there and that there's a guy right now lacing up tonight to play a children's game, essentially, who's going to make $11 million this calendar year.
See, that's insane to me.
Yeah.
That's insane. But then,
I mean, your career might only last 4 years if you get an injury.
There it is.
But Jacqueline, okay, no, and I'm not trying to start an argument whatsoever, not at all. That's fine, because that's the argument I always hear. Oh, but their careers are so short-lived. Understood, but they're swimming in amounts of money that some of us can't even understand.
But if we didn't get that money and give it to the players, then are you happy with the rich owners just keeping all that money for themselves?
And that's my thing, right?
Agreed. No. I disagree with that as well. The consumers themselves are getting played. What givebacks are the communities being given on this? That's my point.
The Air Canada. Is even called
I'm not trying to
Scotiabank
politicize this, by the way. I just want to put out that disclaimer. I'm not trying to
fair
politicize
points.
this.
They're absolutely fair points.
It was ridiculous that anybody makes that kind of money, even if it's like they're the top elite player. I get that. It is kind of sickening when you see somebody
but then
like,
we're just talking about
$23 million for like 6 months worth of work. You're like, what?
But then they're only making. I'm just simply, as of right now, talking about the money that we see from the team playoffs. But then we're not talking about the bonuses. We're not talking about the endorsement deals. We're not talking about the other.
You get a side hustle with an endorsement. Good for you. Like, I mean, that's your side hustle.
Saying, but
endorsements probably kept Tiger Woods alive when he had nothing, right?
Of course, but Tiger Woods also had a divorce settlement that was $500 million. You know what I mean? Like, he had that much money stowed away that his wife walked away with almost $500 million.
Oh, it's crazy. Like, it's absolutely insane. Just the opulence of the money. You know what I mean? Like, because they have athletes have shit tons of money. And
but then we don't put. I'm sorry, Arthur. Continue. I'll continue after you're done.
It's fair, right? Because I mean, the money that us fans put into that could be allocated so much fucking better.
But then we also don't put character clauses in these people's contracts, which I feel like are very important to have, especially if they're going to make that much money. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But you have to blame the fans because, like, let's face it. Let's go back to, I can't even remember his name, the Baltimore Raven guy that got his pregnant girlfriend murdered way back in like the early 2000s when that happened.
Yes, that's the guy.
And the team forgave him. The team fans were fine with that. So should these players have a morality clause if the fans aren't willing to hold them to a morality standard? Because if it was my favorite player, I would be like, you're disgusting.
My contract has a morality clause with my club. That's insane, and I do not make anywhere near what these people are making.
Yeah.
See, that comes back down to my tribalism argument with this shit, though. Because these are people that we identify with as like our heroes, you know what I mean? That we allow them to get away with shit. You can you can put this same like narrative on Donnie Bitch Tits. You know what I mean? Like his supporters are just so in love with him, regardless of the idiocy that he pulls off. They just you know what I mean? Like it's fucked how we do this stuff. But it's true. We
world. When Michael Vick, who granted deservedly you know, his career went south and he never made the kind of money or had the career that he was having before he was found out to have been abused.
Yeah. The dogfights?
Was that Michael Vick that she was referring to?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. It's also I'm not upset necessarily with the players. I'm really more upset with us, the consumer, the public that watches this, because we are so easy to forgive. We hang on.
Yeah. No, it's fair. It's absolutely fucking fair. But either way, I'm pumped.
Okay, so am I back? Can you guys hear me now?
I can.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know how long we'll talk about it, but I think it's the biggest story of the day, and it'll probably be the biggest story for the next week or so. Notre Dame is burning. Yeah. It's on fire. Started, I don't know the exact time it started. I think the first update I saw was about 7:45 Paris time.
Yeah, they kept saying rush hour. It started pretty much like once everybody was done the day.
Okay. Yeah, so it's burning. It's sad. We're talking about stained glass, antiquities, art, sculptures, and just, you know, an 850-year-old landmark.
I was gonna ask, how old is Notre Dame? I was gonna say about 700 years old, right?
Yeah. It's old as shit.
850 years.
Yeah.
That's history that we can never really. You can rebuild. There was this beautiful line that I had heard from a movie. You can rebuild, but you can never restore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, not to take away from the tragedy of it, but it's not like this is the first time this thing's been burnt down.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? The Germans had their fucking way with it. So
yeah.
But it's fucked up. It's crazy. I mean, of course, the internet immediately, like, well, at least the dark holes of the internet that I like to frequent. You know, they went to a more nefarious fucking place with the reasoning behind it, but
the terrorists.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the one point they made, which I never really would have thought of, because I mean, Easter doesn't even fucking ring a bell to me, is that because it is a holy week, it could have been some kind of attack, right?
Yeah, I was like, I'm not going to jump to conclusions that are typically quick. Arthur and Jacqueline know this very much of me. I like to jump. I'm not going to jump because I really don't know that many details. I was just kind of watching it burn.
Yeah.
I think it's a little eerie, right? But a lot of things are eerie in life. Sometimes it's just a coincidence.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, like, again, I'm not saying that's the fucking case. Like, I'm definitely not going to make a fucking claim that bold. You know what I mean?
We don't know. And we're not crazy. We're not going to jump to conclusions. We're going to wait and see what the investigators say. They'll know. They'll be able to look and see if someone left their tool on and that started a fire, or, you know.
No, it's just anytime anything like this happens, my first instinct is like, oh, let's go see what the crazy people over at 8chan have to fucking say. You know what I mean?
I like seeing it too. Like, I read the comments on Reddit and stuff.
See, Reddit's kind of civil. You want to go to the real fucking crazies?
Oh, I can't go to the dark web, Arthur. You know, I'm afraid of that.
It's not the dark web. It's 8chan. It's literally www.8chan. No, see, 4chan's a bunch of nerds playing at being evil. The guys on 8chan are literally fucking evil. Like,
oh my god.
Yeah, it's a fucked up place. But
this is just kind of, to me, such a tiring 2 weeks worth of fire. I had a client whose apartment burnt down. My friend, I think I told Jacqueline, my friend's apartment burnt down. I'm not going to mention her name out of respect. And then, like, hearing this, I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, can I not hear? But I know I'm that meme that people talk about. Like, if a friend dies, I'm going to be the one, like, oh, one of us decided to die. I know I'm like that sometimes, but this is so sad. Like, I would like to visit Notre Dame, but God knows when that's going to happen at this point. Because
that'll be a long time restoring. They were already working on a $6.5 million restoration, which is what some of the theories are that it was caused by, right? This restoration.
Well, the freaking Catholic Church has a lot of fucking money. They can freaking
they do.
Okay.
That'll come from France itself too.
That's the other joke I keep seeing, that this was it was an inside job. The Pope ordered it to fucking burn all the old fucking child porn that got stored in there.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That's such a good joke though. That's so funny.
That one got
me. Arthur's lady love, his wife, and her mother are over in Paris, and they just were there yesterday, right?
Yeah, they went there. They didn't go in because the line was too fucked up. So she told me earlier that they bought tickets to go in tomorrow.
Because it would have been Palm Sunday. So
exactly. It was fucking packed to the tits. So they took other photos of the outside and shit. She just actually messaged me. They walked down to see the wreckage right now, but they're still not letting people fucking near it, right? Like, which is
like
smart.
Yeah.
It's like my mom. She actually is planning on doing a pilgrimage all over Europe next year.
Nice.
Because she's
Going
naturalizing,
there.
and it's much easier now. She can't go there.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and also our friend Justin, who does the TV Attack with me, he was just in Paris at the beginning of March, and he sent me a picture from inside. His picture from inside
Yeah.
the church. So it's so sad. It's so
Yeah,
sad.
it's
There's
crazy.
13 million visitors a year.
Yep.
And not me, Ryan, or Arthur. We're not one of those 13 million. So
I never would have been, but still.
If I went to Paris, I would definitely check it out. I'm not
I wouldn't have went. There's no way I'd went.
But I would
I did some of the cathedrals and stuff while I was in Germany, and they're cool and all, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, if I ever go to France, Paris is the last place I'll spend any fucking time. I don't give two shits. Yes. What do you mean? I'm all in about Canadian war history, and we have Dieppe, fucking Normandy, right? To go see the Vimy Memorial. Like that's the shit that I'd be going to France for.
I
Paris,
would do that.
Like, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of like, as a tourist, I'm more of a looker. I like to look at the nice things. Like that would be such a travesty. God, let me knock on wood because I don't want this to happen anytime soon. But like if that happened to St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York, oh my God, I would just be so upset because it's so beautiful inside.
Oh, yeah.
Forget religion. But like, it's just beautiful inside.
You're talking about, even though it's a church and it's a functioning building, that's a real work of art.
Oh yeah, and that's what I mean. Like even seeing the cathedrals, I got to see the old Gothic ones in Germany. Like they were really cool. I hold no religious beliefs whatsoever. I'm quite vocal about that, and I really enjoyed them. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't enjoy Notre Dame, but again, Paris is just not a fucking place I give a shit about. Like I literally,
I don't know.
Super crowded.
Top list of places to travel. To be honest, I would go there if I would.
Meh.
I'm not one of those people going, oh my God, I want to go to Paris. Like I don't care that much.
And like that's it. If I was into like fashion, I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's go to Paris. That's the place to be. You know what I mean? If I was into fucking like wine and fucking baguettes, I'd be like, all right, let's go to fucking Paris.
I will say, seeing the pictures that Justin took of the pastries in Paris, I would just be like, I won't say the name. Yeah. We always make a joke about one of our friends who went on this like place. He went to New York City and all his pictures were of food and restaurants. Okay. So we say his naming across the place. So that's what I would do. I would be eating my way across the pastry markets.
I know this person you're mentioning?
I will type it in our chat.
Oh, I was gonna say, who is it?
But yeah, no, it's
yeah.
And talking to my wife about it, I mean, it's just kind of added to the trip. It is kind of fucking crazy though.
That, she's not getting a refund for her tickets tomorrow.
Oh no, it's not happening. It's not happening. Everything's burned down. Like there's no records. Like it's gone. Sorry about your luck.
I would be the only bitch if that happened to me. This is how sour I am, and you guys can laugh because I am still Ryan after all. I would be like, really? It had to burn the day the day before I was going to go there.
I was like, oh, just my luck. I went to Iceland and they had a strike. Now, luckily, it didn't affect me, but and then I'm in Iceland and the other major airline provider goes bankrupt and closes.
Yeah. Well, but that's like, but that's like with my friend a week before she was to go on her trip, the whose house burnt down. A week before she was going to go on her trip, I was going to take out a renter's policy on her because she's such a procrastinator. And I was like, we'll do it when she gets back, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Her apartment burnt down as she was on an Uber back from the airport. Like, it's so sad. But with people like us, Jacqueline, our lucks just suck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, our lucks just suck. So I would be that person who's like, oh, I can finally go on a trip. Oh, shit, everything went.
I had a friend who would always say, and it's not, he didn't originate, but he always said it. So I always, conflate it with him. If it wasn't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all.
Well, I'd rather have no luck than bad luck.
Okay, so, good luck, Paris. And, I'm sure that'll be restored at some point. But
today's tax day, people.
Not in Canada. April 30th in Canada.
Yeah.
Well, for us, today's tax day.
The other big story, I don't know if either of you care, but I cared. Last night was the premiere of Game of Thrones.
I don't know if I care. I named my fucking dog Khaleesi.
Oh, yeah, I forgot your dog was Khaleesi. Yeah, so, no spoilers. We're not going to talk about what happened. I will say I really enjoyed it. I cried. I cheered.
Everybody dies.
Everyone
record.
dies, yeah.
Right. Well, not in the first episode. This is why you know all the deaths are coming, because they gave us such a great episode of people getting reunited, gave it everything we wanted, and all the deaths are coming next episode, right?
It's got it.
But it broke its own record. It's very close to possibly beating the record held by MASH, the final episode of MASH.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, for the most watched episode ever. It went from the previous season premiere or finale had 10.5 million people actually watching on HBO live, right? At HBO.
Yeah.
Last night it had 16.5 million. And you got to remember, this is the #1 pirated show ever. So 16.5 million people watched it legally. And how many watched it illegally? Like myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Like myself.
I can't relate. I don't watch the show. Sorry.
God, Ryan.
I just
so
all of
good.
my whole family does. Well, with the exception of my mother and my father, who just can't follow anything. I'm not interested. I tried. I really did. I tried so hard, but I couldn't.
I tried to get Scott into it. We watched all of season 1, right up until, the old beheading of Ned. Sorry, spoiler from, 8 years ago. But and I'm just happy to not love this show. And it's not just dragons and sex. It's like there's good acting and story and writing.
I like to ration my excitement to like once or twice a year. I'm more excited to what's to come in 11 days. All I'm going to say is Endgame.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
I'm excited to see that, I guess.
Just
I'm going to go to
I'm
the theater
rationing.
and see that with that. I can't remember what it's called. Where you sit in the chairs that like shake you around and in your face.
Bitch, what?
Yeah, they
That's
have
too
theaters like
much.
that.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of
No.
those.
I'm going to try it.
I'm not a fan of it at all. I did not enjoy it.
That's not for people with anxiety.
Oh, I don't have anxiety.
I found it just took too much out of the movie. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what did I go see? I went seeing the last Jedi in those stupid fucking chairs, and yeah, to me it ruined the experience.
Oh, interesting.
They were trying to do too much, and I've always had a beef with people trying too hard, and that's the feeling I got with that. Like they were just trying too hard to. Like, oh, you can feel when the fucking shit moves. Like, cool, I don't care. Like, shut up. I'm trying to watch the fucking movie. Like, I'm not here for your bullshit. Like,
are things too cool for that?
I guess. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
too much.
it's kind of like it is kind of that though. Like, I'm not even ashamed to admit that it is kind of like I'm too cool for it. But like, simple,
I like simplicity.
You're right. I think that's more what it is. Like, I'm like even like my apprehension towards 3D fucking movies. It's kind of the same thing. It's like, why fucking fix something that ain't broken? Movies are dope. CGI's dope. Fucking leave it be.
If you don't need it, you can just get lost in the movie if the movie's good enough.
Exactly.
Well, but it's really all about kind of the simplicity of it. The plot line with Avengers, the last 2 movies, Infinity Wars and now Endgame, it's super twisted. It's kind of like Game of Thrones. There's 10 years worth of plot building up to this one point. To have your senses be overloaded with so much going on, it just takes away from the plot. And I feel like as a watcher, as a consumer, I don't need that. I want to be able to watch the movie and enjoy it maybe 5 times.
Like if I wanted that, I wouldn't have smoked all that fucking pot before I walked in. I'm good to go. Like, I'm vibrating. It's all fucking good. Like, just leave me fucking be.
Well, not everybody will smoke all that pot before they go to see it.
Excuse me, bitch.
Those people are fucking squares, and they should reevaluate their fucking life.
Can I just say this, by the way? I read an article how because it's now legal in Canada to consume and smoke marijuana, that there actually are a lot of first-time people doing it, which I think is kind of amazing.
That's
good.
exciting, yeah.
It's fucking amazing.
Just don't do what I know somebody did 2 weekends ago and had a whole bag of gummies, thinking that you needed to consume a whole bag to be calm.
Somebody should have talked to the person they know that consumes a shit ton of marijuana and could have fucking told them
constantly about how you have to go slow with edibles, even though that somebody is on the show, or sorry, listening to the show quite a bit. Clearly doesn't listen closely. Let's get into the stories, and I just want to say quickly, I don't know how long we'll talk about it, but a big landmark decision happened in the UK, and it just happened in Nova Scotia here in Canada. they are now doing opt-out organ donations. So basically, if you die, they're automatically assuming you're giving your organs to people who need it. If you don't want to do it, it's the same as right now when you opt in.
Yeah.
You at the health card office, at the DMV, wherever it's going to be, you say, nope, I don't want to do it, and please keep my organs in my.
Don't know how I feel about that.
I love it. I love it.
Oh my god.
I personally feel if you want to claim religious exemption as to why you need to be buried whole, then you need to exempt yourself, not the rest of us conforming to your bullshit.
No, it's not about religion. For me, it's not about religion. I just feel like I don't know.
Because
I'm gonna keep it.
Like, I'm not even saying this toward you, but isn't that the reasoning behind that though?
No, for some people. Well, I'm an organ donor. I will say that. So for me, it's more like I don't know. Actually, you bring up a good point, Arthur. So I wouldn't know if that's the case for a lot of people. For some, what I've heard is they just don't want to.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. I know a lot of people.
That's
my husband doesn't want to. He would not want to be an organ donor since I met him. I've always been had my organ donor card.
Me too.
For it. But I can see. I know some people think that that they're not going to give you the best of care if they know they can get your organs. I don't think that's.
I didn't know that. So you guys are bringing up points I don't know about. Yeah. I'm literally sticking to the one gun, which is a lot of people just don't want to.
Don't want it,
Yeah, because they don't know if it's even usable. Like for me, you may be able to get a pair of lungs, but girl, I was a chain smoker for
exactly. But if there's a chance that you can harvest one part for me that's going to help save someone else, then fucking do it.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
Your lungs or your liver might not be useful, but they can use your eyeballs. Yeah. They can use now they can use like tendons and cartilage and all kinds of body parts that you never would have thought. And it might not.
But that's why I'm for it. But if you're going, this is my point of view. You guys can tell me how you feel about what I'm about to say, because I really want to hear this. If you're going to stop or impede my burial, because I want to be buried like that, right? I want to be buried right away. If you're going to stop or impede that because you're trying to get more, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of where my thing is. Although I'm a donor. I'm a donor.
I can absolutely agree with that point. You know what I mean? Well, why keep the body on ice just to fucking, know what I mean? Save a few organs, just in case somebody might need it. No, I get that. That's actually a fairly valid point.
Well, because it gives my family much more time to argue.
Write that into your, your living will or whatever.
Remember, they're not going to be able to pull up your will like that, though, Jacqueline. Wills can take a while.
Yeah, they
or you have somebody in your family, whoever your next of kin is, you have to be able to give them some sort of, whatever you would call it. If somebody has a DNR, you have the same sort of thing where you would say, look, harvest whatever organs you can get, but within 24 hours, the body has to be released. And then that's that.
Oh, right? No, I want it to be in hours. Burn me from the scene of the accident to the fucking chambers of hell. Burn me.
I'm all for donating anything usable.
Yep.
And I was always kind of against my body going to be a cadaver from med students, but kind of in the last couple of weeks, I've been thinking that I might become one.
Right on.
Oh, I don't know about that. There's too much fat. No.
That's why I was always worried. I'm like, I'm fat and they're gonna make fun of me. But you know what? These medical students need bodies to work on, and why not have a fat obese lady that they can be like, look, this is what happens when you eat too much fucking donuts.
No, you're not gonna do that to me. I already have my pictures picked out. They are heavily edited. I am gonna look like fucking Kylie Jenner. No, girlfriend. You are not gonna see this.
We'll see. And you know what? They after they're done with you, after a year, they cremate you and they send your ashes home to your family. And there's like,
no, I won't have a family by then.
I don't even want that. Don't even bother. I don't need a burial. I don't need any of that shit. Like, I'm dead. Yeah. Fuck that. Like, literally, fucking have a picture of me if you need with a candle. Other than that, like, I don't need no grave.
Oh, that's too much.
I talked to Logan today too, because we were talking about it. I said, I don't think I even want a funeral.
No.
If I get interned, which I don't want to be buried unless I get a natural burial, like to make a tree or whatever. I don't want a funeral. I don't like when people.
Me too.
I don't want people to use my death as a reason to get drunk. Fuck off.
This is also, by the way, this is a very new thing. If I can just lightly touch on the funeral thing. I've had it planned for a few years now that I don't want a burial. And someone asked me, well, aren't you Catholic? I said, yeah. what are you going to do? I said, well, I want to be cremated right away. And they were like, oh my God, that's against your religion. I said, I don't really care. I don't want
Everything's
a
against your religion.
funeral. I don't want a party. I don't want anything. People have to respect that. If they want my life policies to pay out, they better not try me.
Well, and you know what? I was just like 4 funerals in a year, like 2 years ago. And every funeral, and I know the priests are trying their best. I'm not trying to talk badly about the priests, but unless you're a regular churchgoer, the priests don't know you. Like I saw them mess up people's names. They didn't know the spouses' names. And I just felt like, like these are people I love and they deserve better.
Well, I'm not going to be the bitch that I'm not going to be the bitch that everybody's going to judge like that coffin's really heavy to carry. No, bitch. Not this one.
Ryan has it written that they cut all his fat off, and so that he's only a skeleton and a beautiful face.
Yeah, I will not be made. No, I want to be cremated. I want to be cremated right away. I don't really want a funeral. I don't want the after funeral party, whatever you call it. I don't want that.
That's grim.
I just want a straight boom. That's it. You're done, girl. Put me in the throne of hell where I belong.
These Irish wakes where you sit in your living room with the body. What the frick? No, thank you.
No, best case scenario for me is I fucking die in Tibet and they just drag my ass up a mountain and let the fucking vultures deal with me. Like seriously, in all honesty, like that's kind of what I'd like. I'd like to go the way of a cat, realize I'm gonna die, and just fuck off and crawl into a hole.
Wander into the woods and die. And
fuck it. I don't give two shits. Right? I've always had a beef with people and how they deal with grief and how they fucking marauded around for fucking sympathy and shit like that. I'm not going to be someone's that. You know what I mean? Like,
I 100% know how you feel. That's how I feel right there.
Yeah, I can't fucking stand it.
But I've had my mom, she was such a tough one when she got back from, as you guys are both aware, when my grandfather had passed away. She got back, it was like boom, back to work. Because you have to. The truth is, and I've spoken about this before, everybody tells me you're so young, why are you talking about this? Because it has to be spoken about. Because things happen in life, and I would rather you guys know what I want and what I'm ready for.
When I show up at Ryan's and they're trying to put him in a freaking, suit and tie and have an open casket, I'd be like, bitch, he wants to wear fucking, designer, and he doesn't want open casket. He wants to be cremated. What the fuck?
Yeah, somebody has to know those things. Like when I was married, my I have my DNR forms. They're all signed. I have all those ready. I said I don't want to be resuscitated. If there's a chance that I'm going to be a vegetable, I want to be dead. I want to be, I am in a coma, I want to wake up and be able to be back to whom I am, as you guys remember, not some former idea of what I was.
There's somebody who has to live on a feeding tube and a breathing machine.
That's not going to be me. Don't keep my memories alive. I kill me, bitch.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah, it's not even killing at that point in time. Like, do me the fucking favor. You know what I mean? Like, no, fuck that. I ain't about that shit. But I don't mind this. Like, I don't mind this whole, I think that's a smarter way of doing it.
It's not immediately. Like, it's not going to be like, okay, starting on April 31st. I know that's not a date. Starting on that date, everybody, if you die, it's going to be like a 2-year period. You have lots of time to go to whatever office it is and contact them and say, I don't want to be part of this program.
Yeah.
Okay. No one's going to be forced.
Well, it's just like, because again, the only argument I've ever heard against it really was that most religions, you have to be buried whole. You can't do anything like that, right? So that just kind of became our default, which always pissed me off because, well, we're supposed to be secular, so why the fuck is anything religious my motherfucking default? You know what I mean? And obviously,
that religion creeps into all kinds of freaking policies.
Exactly.
I don't think religion has any place in government whatsoever. I think we need to run our government free of religion completely. That's 100%. The only one thing I like about Duterte's thinking. But however, with this, I think we need, if people are unaware, we need to inform them on a much larger scale so that they know that they are opt out, not
I'm sure you're going to have large signs at every, because here it's going to be at your where you get your driver's license renewed, or where you go to get your health card, right? I don't know how it works in Nova Scotia.
Oh, this isn't that's if you do that in the
There's probably going to be letters sent home to people through Nova Scotia Health Card Company. I don't even know what they're called. Nova Scotia Health.
I guess, yeah.
They'll probably get letters to send to every household to inform people. It's going to be in the papers. It's going to be on every news station. If you haven't heard about it, you're willfully ignorant at this point.
Yeah.
Sorry,
that's
like
true.
really, you
No,
know,
that's true though. It's true.
if it's happening in your state, Ryan, you would know about it, right?
Oh, well, because it's a little different. You guys know I'm a
Yeah.
news junkie. Everything like
Yeah.
goes in and out of
But
my
not just
head.
that, like I just think like if you listen to the radio, if you watch TV, or if you read the newspaper, you're going to know about it. If you don't see any of those three things, then you're purposely trying to be ignorant to the world. You know what I mean? Anyway, one other thing I want to talk about, because Arthur and I love to talk about when there's like medical breakthroughs. Story
Mhm.
came out today that, oh God, where was it? Japan, I think, China. Anyway, they created the first 3D printed heart. Oh, Tel Aviv University.
Huh, that's pretty
Oh,
dope.
So it's a tiny little
Israel.
heart. It's not full size and it's not ready to work, but this is the first time that it was made from actual tissues and like biological materials from a person, which means if Arthur needs a new heart, they can take his cells, his blood, his
Yeah,
platelets, and they can make a heart that his body most likely will not reject.
that's pretty
So
cool.
it's only step one. It's only step one. But 5 years we could be getting our hearts and our livers, and we won't
Oh, I lost her.
Yeah, me too.
have
I
to worry
think we
about
lost
Oh,
organ
there she
donors,
is.
right?
Um,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, not even that. Just think of like cancer,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Rather than
I'm kind of getting really tired of studies. I don't want to be the Debbie Downer here, but I feel like so many studies come out. We make so many breakthroughs, but big pharma just keeps shutting it
oh
down
yeah,
because it's going to, so for me, it's like until we regulate big pharma, these studies, as great as they are, as much as they're going to cure and or help people, it just goes to waste. It goes to waste.
what needs to
Yeah.
happen is you want to get around that. Start doing the work here. Start doing it in Canada rather than the U.S. Do it in a place
Yep.
where
Mhm.
these pharmaceutical companies don't have the stranglehold on the government or the people.
And also too, because you got a place like, as much as America is kind of like an advanced forefront kind of country,
Yeah.
you still have a lot of these evangelicals
Yep.
that are
Mhm.
holding back on scientific breakthroughs, whereas Canada doesn't quite have that challenge. We still have people that don't want you to do it, but
Yeah.
they don't control our government like they do in
But
America.
if we really want to move forward with just life in general, we have to start to put our beliefs aside sometimes and focus
Yeah.
on the big thing that's going on. Like Nancy Reagan, she was so against stem cell research, right? Until she found out that it could help her then husband.
Yeah,
And look what
exactly.
happened with that. That's the thing. It has to
Exactly.
affect you to realize it. This beautiful documentary that Ricky Lake did about marijuana and how some people were so against it, but then when they found out that it could help with tumor reduction for
Mhm.
people with cancer, AIDS wasting, so many people jumped on the bandwagon. Sometimes we just have to make it realistic. People love good stories, and
Mhm.
so a good story can sometimes be convincing.
Yeah. Now I want to talk about the saddest story that we probably have ever heard in our lives.
Mm.
Get your tissues ready, guys. We're talking about this poor guy, Jerome Kunkel. He's 18 years
What?
old. He goes to school in Northern Kentucky.
Okay.
He plays sports. He was on the basketball team, I believe this is the sport he was playing on. And the school banned him from playing. He couldn't come to school and he couldn't play sports anymore because he hadn't received his chickenpox vaccine. There's a huge outbreak at the school. He didn't care and he wanted to come to school and still play, even though he could spread and make it worse. He's suing the school and the school board district and all this
Oh,
stuff.
he's cute. I'm with him.
Well, fuck you, kid. First of all. Second of all, fuck your dumb fuck parents for fucking breeding you. Is it too late?
Right?
Is it too late for re-education camps? Like, are we past that as society, or can we fucking bring that shit
I
back?
want to know if it's too late for a late-term abortion.
You know what I mean? Like, fuck.
As Mr. Kunkel's attorney, I agree with him fully on this decision of suing the school. Power to Mr. Kunkel. Call me.
No, fuck this kid. This is like this is the worst thing.
I'm kidding, clearly.
One good thing I heard today, though, was apparently GoFundMe is banning all anti-vax fucking pages.
As they
in the
should.
world.
I
You
mean,
know what? This is why there's
Right.
an outbreak at your
but Arthur, as they should ban,
Right.
anti-vax, anything should be banned. Okay,
Yeah.
yes, I believe heavily on or in the freedom of speech in the United
Yeah.
States of America.
And your
I
freedom of
agree with that. I
choice.
agree with your
Yeah.
beliefs and freedom of choice, all of it. I agree with it. However, if it's going to affect the mass public and we're
Yep.
going to have measles outbreak, I don't quite think that should be allowed because
Well,
this is for the
here's the
safety
thing.
of the public.
Yes, and you
Exactly.
have your freedom to choose not to have your vaccination, but then there are consequences, like in areas of, what is it, the Bronx or Brooklyn, Ryan, where they're going
Yes.
to start fining people because all
The
these
Bronx.
Orthodox Jews, you know, are
Oh,
misinformed and
Brooklyn.
they're not
Mhm.
vaccinated.
But people cannot be offended. People can't be offended by this. You should not be allowed to be a part of the fucking public because you choose to not be vaccinated. You're not going to put my life in danger. It's just like when we talk about gun reform, right? I'm not going to allow you to be out in public if you can shoot me. I mean, but this is even worse. I don't even know you're killing me.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
it's just, it's for the safety of the public. I have a niece whose shots aren't all complete yet because, you know, she's still growing. So no, I don't want you to be around her. No, I don't need you to be around people if you are unprotected against all of us. Granted, some people might take this up and say, oh, but that's what they were saying about people living with HIV in the 80s. This is completely different.
No, you couldn't control whether you got, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like by the time you
Mhm.
realized you had HIV, you didn't know. You couldn't spread it
Yes.
by sitting in a room with somebody like you can the measles.
That was ignorance to the disease, though, right? That was a new
Yeah.
one. People had no idea what the
Yeah.
fuck was what. So, I
Mhm.
mean,
I
they made
remember
a
being
bunch of dumb
afraid of
fucking
HIV,
claims.
and the news didn't help. Nobody knew gay cancer was going to get us all.
But, like, what was
right?
that? What was that last outbreak in Africa? Was it malaria? The big one?
No.
What was it?
Ebola.
Ebola, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like saying, oh, well, you know, it's those people's rights to die by that disease. We shouldn't be working on a vaccination. Like, no, that's not how it works. We have the chance to eradicate
To
this
save
shit, not
lives.
put anybody else through it. But now we have all these pseudoscientists, fucking conspiracy theory believers out there thinking that heavy metals are going to give your kid autism. Like, fuck off.
You know what? Here's the thing, and I've said this many times. Even if vaccines could cause, which they don't,
Yep.
autism, I'd rather have an autistic kid than a dead kid.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That is all.
Mm.
Like I said, let's bring back the fucking Spartan ways. Just start throwing fucking defective children off cliffs. Fuck it.
You know
Fuck
what? I
it.
mean, they put lepers in leper colonies, and I mean, you couldn't help when you got leprosy.
Exactly.
You can help it if your kid or yourself gets a disease because you chose not to vaccinate.
Yeah.
Put you in your freaking measles colony. Like, fuck off.
Well, but I think a lot of people tend to forget that vaccination should not be a choice. It
I
is
don't
for the
think they
protection of.
should. I understand
Well, no,
things like flu. You don't have to get the flu shot if you want.
Oh yeah, that's a little different though. The
But
flu
like
is
things like measles, things like, you know, mumps, rubella, all the ones that they forced you to get when you're a child. You're supposed to get those for a reason.
Exactly.
we're trying to protect ourselves from diseases that killed people back in the fucking 17, 1800s.
They killed people
for
80
God's
years
sakes.
ago,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
You know, they killed people in my mom's generation.
There's still people alive right now that you can go have conversations with that lived their like informative years in iron lungs and then were
Yeah.
helped due to medical science, but now you have a bunch of idiots thinking that they're smarter than fucking doctors.
You know?
All because Alex Jones said
Oh,
so.
now you got diabetes, but you're not going to take your freaking insulin or your
Yeah.
metformin? Pff, fuck off.
Well, just think about even polio, the polio vaccine, right? I mean, how many lives has that saved so far? I mean, was that a farce?
Exactly.
Did we make that up? With some
Smallpox. The first vaccine was smallpox. And that guy did that in the middle of the 1800s some freaking time. And that was almost instantly gone because people did it and they weren't, I mean, they were afraid, right? But they did it. And who gets smallpox now?
People in very, very, very poor places. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like it's nuts.
Yes. Anyway, let's talk about our final story before the show ends. We've talked about the guy suing his parents for him being born. We
What?
talked about, there was the guy who sued his parents in
Yeah.
India because he was born, he didn't ask to be born.
Yeah,
They
he's my
forced
spirit
birth on
animal.
him. Yes.
That fucking A.
We talked about I don't know if we talked about it here, but I've talked about kids, adults suing their parents for being circumcised without their permission when they were babies. We talk about the guy who sued his parents for kicking him out of the house.
Yeah.
So now here's one that I think most men, I won't say just men, I guess some people, some women, is suing an Indiana man. He's 40 years old. He moved in with his parents in 2016. He left after about 10 months later. And when he got his new, they sent his things to his new home. He found that 12 boxes of his pornographic films and magazines were missing. They threw them out on him.
Yo, what the fuck?
$29,000 worth of stuff in classics such as Frisky Business and Big Bad Grannies.
My God.
He's very angry. He's asking for damages of roughly $87,000, I guess, because he had pain and suffering by not having his porn.
Oh yeah. I mean, how can you live with the Big Bad Grannies? Like,
for real, this is happening in your country, right? In America.
But why would you have pornography still in like DVDs or
some
tapes?
people like the classics?
No, they're on the interwebs now.
Yeah, I don't get it.
40 years old. That's my generation. We like having hard copies of stuff.
Just to backtrack a little bit. I mean, I don't have a preference when it comes to penises in my mouth. I don't care if you're cut or uncut, but I mean, I kind of do think about that a little bit. Like, what if the child didn't choose to have it cut?
Well, that's a real thing, and a lot of people are saying that. I've seen stories like that where kids have.
I think all dicks are beautiful.
Well,
thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Connoisseurs know what they're talking about. You go to sommelier for wine. You go to.
Did you just seriously compare him to a fucking wine sommelier?
She did. She's such a shady bitch.
In regards to dick, really that is
Am
like
I
that.
wrong?
That is like the best backhanded compliment I think I've ever fucking heard.
Can I just explain this about Jacqueline? She is such a bitch to me. You guys have no idea. Off the air, the comments she'll throw randomly at me.
I fucking like that.
Random messages where you just say bitch and that you're a Caucasian Baptist woman. Like out of nowhere. Hello, how are you? How's the family? Just bitch. I am a Caucasian woman.
So one of my friends, I won't mention his name as well. We're good friends. It was in Colorado. And he gets these text messages from me every day. And today my text message was, I'm in my Chanel boots and I tripped. You were probably praying for me to trip. And he was like, I don't know where that came from. You didn't even talk to me this whole weekend, but I'm sure I didn't. My response was, yes, you did. I am a little bit spastic. I'm not going to lie. I have no self-control. I think I have Tourette's. This has to be controlled, and I think a lot of men have to give me their penises.
Oh, that's how you
as the cure. Yeah, because then you'll shut me up with a dick in my mouth.
Not for money, but for dick.
Oh, no, GoFundMe. We don't need that. Now that Craigslist has taken it down, there's something called Doublelist to all the people who like their dicks.
Grindr also exists. So.
Yeah, or Grindr, Tinder, whatever you like to use. Christian Mingle, whatever you like. It's all there for you.
A farmer one.
Farmers
what does it go? Farmers only?
Yeah, farmers only.
Yeah.
You're never lonely at Farmers Only.
I'm always lonely.
Oh my God. I'm so glad I'm like an old married lady and I don't have to go on like, granny date.
I'm the only single one here.
I don't even know.
Both of you are assholes. I'm the only single one. I went out with my cousins.
As on a date?
Some of them are visiting. No. I went out with my cousins recently and we were all out together and all of them were coupled up. And I didn't realize until about 2 hours into it. So everybody was like sitting together or whatever. And I'm like, oh, wow, thanks. I'm like the 11th wheel here. It was so awkward. Like, I'm going to be 30 next year. I'm turning 29 in a couple of weeks. And it saddens me that I have to think about lying about my relationship status just to get out of family functions. It has seriously turned into
just be like, tell the truth. Be like, I don't want to go to your family function.
No.
Yeah, fucking right.
No, you can't do that. You have to at least show face for 5 minutes.
No, right? So
I bought an outfit.
This is the problem with the world. The world would be so much easier. Like when I invite Arthur somewhere and he doesn't want to come, I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
I'm not angry. Don't
clearly you guys are Caucasian.
But there's so many other families. Like people are trying to invite me to their like 7-year-old's birthday party. Like, dude, As much as I like your kid, I don't want to go. I don't want to be around 27-year-olds.
Stop
No.
inviting me to your fucking baby showers. I don't fucking care about your fucking baby showers. Hell,
if I didn't attend,
fucking baby.
If I didn't attend, I wouldn't have anything to do. I mean, you guys know I really don't
do anything. That's the beauty of my life. I don't like to do anything.
Well, but I have to kind of go out a little bit to air myself out. If I was just here, God, I'd be
do that stuff, but I don't go to work. Like, it's not that I don't like people. I just don't want to be around them most of the time.
It's exhausting. I call it the social recharger. I have to come and recharge every so often from the social stuff.
Like if Arthur just said, "Hey, I'm having a barbecue, come on over," cool, I'd be like, that sounds fun, I'll go to that. But if Arthur said, "Oh, now we're having a baby shower," I'd be like, "Oh,
I don't want to go to that."
And I go to one. Everybody in the family gets one. You have 5 babies and you have 5 baby showers. You see me one time. That's it. You get one wedding shower too. I ain't going to fucking all.
Oh, you're? Well, I technically didn't.
I go for
wedding
2 hours. If your wedding or baby shower is more than 2 hours, I'm piecing out of that shit.
I didn't have a marriage shower, so do I get to have one?
Yes.
The second time around?
Yes, you do, because you didn't have one.
Okay, but will you attend?
It depends on if I can afford to attend. I mean, if you're having a
Jacqueline, I'm not that expensive.
And you're getting all your stuff off I don't know, what's a fancy store, Bloomingdale's or Tiffany's? No, I can't afford that. You're gonna get your
no, I don't want gifts.
Your Walmart towel set from me, okay, Ryan?
Oh, I don't want gifts at all. See, I'm very simple. I've said this to people so many times. I don't need you to give me a gift on my wedding or whatever. I would rather you come and celebrate that day with me, because it's the whole purpose of it, Like, if you give me something, thanks, nice, but it's probably not my taste. Like, if you buy me a toaster, that's gonna go to donation. I would hate everybody's gifts. No offense to anybody, I don't like anybody's gifts.
Straight up, give me cash. The fuck's wrong with you?
I don't even want money, because then I'll be like, oh wow, you gave me 50, you're such a cheapo. Like, no, I don't even want anything from anybody, because I have
Christ, right? If somebody gives you $10 and that's all they can afford, you should be happy with $10.
Well, they should work harder to get me more.
Okay, I know, Ryan, you haven't come to any of my showers, so when I have my next big party, you'll have to come and bring me $500, or else you're a cheapo.
Oh, that's okay.
American.
That's fine.
Yeah, American.
That's okay with me. No, that's fine with me. Believe it or not, I'm okay with that. I don't expect it of my friends, because, and again, I'm going to say this, I'm going to just only tell the story briefly. I was asked one Christmas by somebody whom I was with, what would I like? And I said, I don't quite think you can afford what I like. They were upset with me for a couple of weeks. And then finally, when I told them and they researched it, it cost $12,000. It was a Birkin. And I said, well, there you go. You're not going to get me happy. My happiness is fulfilled by myself. My satisfaction will be fulfilled by myself. No person will provide that for me. That I understand.
I'm not a materialistic person. I'm not made happy by material things, honestly.
My material things is something that I like to give to myself. Does that make sense? I don't need anybody to give that to me. I hope that's not offensive to any of my friends.
I'm always very appreciative and I like it, but I'm not, I don't think about, what are people going to get me for my birthday? I don't care.
Oh, yeah, me too. I don't expect anybody to give me anything. That's why I just enjoy celebrating it by myself. Like my friend whom I was with last year for my birthday, she was like, why are you paying? Because I don't expect you to take me out and pay for my dinner. It's my birthday. And plus, if you paid for it, I would rather you fucking buy me something else than this. Like, this is what? You know what I mean?
We're at fucking Eastside Mario's. The fuck?
This is why I am a complicated person to be with. I've come to realize this. You're never going to really make me happy. You're never really going to satisfy me. And if you can't handle that,
it's just
sorry.
It's just high maintenance. Like, it sounds no different.
It's just so high maintenance.
Yeah. I know. Like, I literally know 1,000 women just like you, bud. Like,
with a Starbucks.
Oh, that's so mean, Arthur.
Yeah, that was cruel. My bad. Fuck.
That's like when that lady told Arthur he was a hippie.
Stop. All right, just fucking stop.
Okay, so that's the end of the show. We had some in and out moments, but the internet held up decently, I guess.
That's every night for me.
I am off Wednesday. If you guys are around, if Arthur doesn't have playoff tickets somehow, I guess we'll be here Wednesday. And thanks for listening, and have a great couple days.
Bye.